everyone, welcome to The Zest, the official podcast of Orange Coast Magazine. I'm Chelsea Ranieri, and today's guests are the founders of the inclusive eyewear brand Covry, which has been featured in Vogue, Elle, and Fast Company. Thank you so much for being here today, Florence, Shen, and Athina Wang.
Thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So for listeners who don't know, you guys are based in New Jersey, but your flagship is in Costa Mesa in the same shopping center as Coffee Doughs. And I love that shopping center. It's so cute. I love how they've redone it. And it's great.
Yeah, it's really cool. We have some really great neighbors.
Yeah, literally like there's like a facialist in there now and like it's awesome.
Yeah, they're opening up a restaurant and just like you said, they redid everything. So we got in at a good time.
Yeah, literally like perfect timing. So you guys grew up in New Jersey and you were friends in high school. Do you remember how you met?
I don't remember the day. We had mutual friends. So
I'm sure we had some of the same classes, but I think it was like friends.
Yeah, that's so cool. And then Athina, you went to Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, and Florence went to the Fashion Institute of Technology. What made you both want to pursue a career in fashion?
Well, for me, since high school, I just always thought I was going to be a buyer for like Bergdorf's or something. So, and I was always interested in trends and kind of like what was going on the runway that season. So it seemed like a path that really made sense for me.
Yeah.
And for me, I've always been someone that like, I love to use my hands, like create with my hands. So like grandma always like taught me how to sew and things like that. So I was always kind of into fashion design. Which is why I pursued the fashion design course at FITM. And then later we pivoted because we were both not from the eyewear industry, but we pivoted to eyewear.
Yeah. Did you guys learn anything about eyewear when you were in school, or was it more like clothes?
Not at all. Not at all. But I did work in production for a while after I graduated. So I did work with a few companies that would make clothes for like H&M or Helmut Lang and Theory and things like that. So I kind of like knew what the production process was. But when we later went into eyewear, it's similar, but also completely different.
Yeah. It kind of like, it seems like it would make sense for schools to like also teach about eyewear and stuff too. But
I guess it was like such a small segment and it's probably considered like an accessory outside of like fashion. So,
right. So true. Well, I read that you guys both got jobs at fashion companies that were like a block apart from each other, which is so cool. Where were you guys working before?
So I was working in fashion PR. And Athena was doing apparel production and design. So although we didn't have direct like eyewear optical industry experience, we were able to apply a lot of that, thankfully, to our business.
So who came up with the idea for Covry and like how did that happen?
Yeah, so I was actually hanging out with my grandma and we were just like trying on glasses, just shopping. And then I was just like starting to like growing up in America, I always knew that glasses didn't fit me, or it always was a struggle for me when I was shopping for glasses, but it didn't really cross my mind that that was anything that could be changed. It was just like, okay, that's just what it is. But then something just like clicked when I was shopping with her and I was like, maybe we can make some adjustments or we can change the fit. Or so then we went to a climbing gym. So her husband is like really into climbing. He invited us to go climbing. It sucked. We hated it. So we ended up sitting on the mat and just chatting instead of actually climbing. And then I was like, oh, I had this idea. Like, did you like, does that sound interesting to you? Do you resonate with the struggle? And she's like, oh, growing up in America, exactly the same thing. Like, never find glasses that fit. So from there, we like kind of the idea started kind of to form. And we were like, what if we try to do something with this? What if we try to make our own fit or create some kind of way? So in the very, very early stages, we were like, maybe we can make like something like a Lego block that can connect and clip on. And we had like all these, and then finally, and then finally we landed on what we call elevated fit, which is what we
How many iterations do you feel like it took for you to get to where you are now?
Well, before we even launched the brand, it took like a year to year and a half just in like sampling, prototyping and sampling. So we went through several different rounds. Yeah.
Dang. So what were your friends and family's reactions like when you told them? Were they like, oh my gosh, this is amazing?
It was so long ago. I'm like trying to remember now, but I would say everyone was super supportive. And even when Athina first mentioned that struggle to me, I was like, it hit me so hard because I was like, why have we been friends for so long and we've never talked about this struggle? And it was because it was such a normalized feeling of, hey, eyewear is uncomfortable. It doesn't really seem like there's anything we can do about it. So I was really excited to like kind of just see what we could also do about it. But yeah, I think from the get-go, our friends and family were very supportive. We actually launched a Kickstarter campaign before we launched Covry officially. And they were, really crucial in really helping us get the word out as well.
Yeah. With the Kickstarter, it was like all the models and the models were our friends.
Oh, cool.
They were all of the models. Like we borrowed all of her brother's cameras, gear to like film everything ourselves. So it was a very group effort.
Yeah. Why did you choose to go I don't know much about like venture capitalists and Kickstarters, but why did you choose to go that way instead of venture capitalists?
So originally we kind of mainly wanted to do Kickstarter because we didn't know if this was just something that we, like the two of us, struggled with, or if this was like a overall issue that a lot of people could resonate with. So we kind of mostly did it to test the market to see if there was even a big enough market to make something like this.
Smart.
And then we also obviously needed money to run the first round of production, which is what we end up with the Kickstarter campaign. So our goal was 18,000, and then we ended up closing with close to 52,000.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. So we were like, okay, this is definitely a need. Like there's definitely people like all over the world who are like, trying to help out with the Kickstarter. And we had so much press from it. Like you mentioned earlier, we were just really excited about the idea.
Yeah. What were some of the earlier challenges that you guys had to overcome?
Many.
Yeah. I mean, for one, we didn't come from an eyewear background. So a lot of it in the beginning was like a huge learning curve for us because we had to learn about what actually goes into producing one single pair of frames. And turns out it's not that simple.
Yeah. For clothing, it's like you can, you have your fit model, you can make adjustments and then you right away can change something. But with eyewear, it's like each sample, every tiny adjustment takes at least another month because they have to remake the whole mold and shape it, and everything's done by hand. And then every single part of the frame is a different vendor. So it's like from the hinge to the lens to even the logo, like everyone is a different manufacturer. So it's like a lot of moving components, and it was definitely like a big learning curve. And even just our mission and our elevated fit, a lot of people were like, oh, I didn't know this was a thing, where like, that's just it. That's just classes fit. So I think it was a lot of also education on our end too. And then a lot of people who tried on our frames for the first time really felt the difference. But I think if you don't try it on, you're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, or I'm just so used to wearing. But then you really feel the difference when you try on the frames.
Right. So what does make your eyewear inclusive? And if you can talk a bit about the elevated fit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll start from kind of the beginning of like our struggles with eyewear to begin with, right? So a lot of times whenever we would when we were growing up and going shopping for sunglasses or glasses, a lot of the issues that we had were that the frames would slide down and we'd either have to constantly push them up, or they would be sitting on our cheeks instead of our nose because we have a lower nose bridge. So there's no bridge to kind of catch it. It's our cheeks that catch it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes because they're sitting on our cheeks, sometimes they would fog up or something. It's just very embarrassing and very uncomfortable. And so we created what we call elevated fit. And so these have 3 different design elements that really just help lift the frames up a little bit more so it's more comfortable, and it still does work for everyone.
Oh, wow. So it's like, how high does the fit, like, how does that work?
Yeah. So typically one of the components of our elevated fit is we narrowed the bridge. So typically if the bridge of the frame is wider, they're just going to sit a little bit further and naturally kind of fall down if we don't have the bridge necessarily to hold it up. So we made that more narrow. And then we also made the nose, I don't know if you can see that, but we made the nose pads bigger also to elevate the frame and have it sit a little bit higher. But yeah, just overall, it's like from the side, usually if you're smiling and the frame shouldn't be touching your cheeks. So if our bridge was higher or, the frames should technically, this part should sit and rest on the bridge.
God, I'm going to go test out like all my glasses now. I don't know if I'm wearing them right. That's amazing. So what glasses are you guys? Oh, sorry,
that's the thing that a lot of our customers also experience. They're like, oh, I didn't know that this is how they're supposed to fit. So there's a big educational piece to Athina's point earlier as well.
Definitely. So what pairs are you guys wearing right now?
I'm wearing the Elle. It's this rose gold that I love. It's just kind of like
cute.
A alternative to your classic gold. Nice and delicate.
And I'm wearing the Mago frame. It's a very classic tortoise. Ever since I was young, I always went for tortoise. It's just like, so I think it's a little softer than all black, but it's still really classic. I feel like it's seasonless and it goes with everything. And the round shape, I think, is just also fits my face.
Yeah. Do you guys have any tips for how to like find glasses that look good on your face shape, or how should people pick which Covry glasses fit them best?
I love this question, and we get it a lot. It's really hard to know kind of where to start. And so we actually offer a virtual try-on where if you can go on our site, you scan your face, and the first thing it'll do before it even recommends styles for you is tell you what face shape you are.
Oh God, I need it just for that.
Yeah. So that's a really good place to start. We also have a fit quiz where if you kind of already have an idea, you can kind of just filter through and get some recommendations.
That's so cool.
I was just going to say, my rule of thumb is typically if you have like a more rounder face, kind of go for the opposite. So something a little bit more squared and edgy to kind of balance it out. And vice versa, if you have more of like a squared or diamond shaped face, then you can try something a little bit with more curves to kind of soften it out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that tip. That's really good. So you guys talked a little bit about how long it takes to create a pair of glasses. And I read that it takes your artisans 20 steps in 5 months to create a single frame. Is that still the case?
Yes, at least 20 steps.
Oh my God. Can you walk me through kind of like what the different steps are, or like those?
Yeah, so we use what we call acetate. So it is a kind of like a wood pulp fiber cotton mix. And it is what this plastic material is. Mm-hmm. So this comes kind of like dough. It kind of looks like dough. And if you have like tortoise, it's like the different colors are kneaded in. So that's why no frame will be exactly the same pattern, because it's like a kneaded process. So you'll never get the exact same mix. But once that's kneaded and the color is kind of how whatever the factory decides like the color looks like, they cut it into like a little slab and then they put it in the machine and then they laser the shape of the frame out. And then it goes into hand polishing and then these big barrels that roll and polish for a few days to get it shiny and smooth. And then you cut the groove for the lens to go in. And then the lens needs to get cut and then coated and all these things, depending on the type of lenses you need. And then everything's a hand assembled. So there's like pins that hold the temples in. So those are like using a machine that like shoots this pin into this plastic piece and holds it in. And then someone has to manually like put in the hinges and screw all of that in and then go in and laser all the details on the inside, like the style names. All of those things are lasered as well. So that's just a few. And even just getting acetate takes about a month for them to like actually make all of the materials as well.
So what's the benefit of having someone create the glasses by hand versus just a machine?
I would say quality. The quality is definitely better if it is handmade and hand done. There are ways that you can make it where it's just injected into a mold. So you don't have to like hand polish or shape it. And the patterns on there are sprayed on. So it's not actually kneaded into the pattern. So those are like a more cost efficient way to do it, but we just feel like the quality is not as good as someone like doing the whole process. Yeah.
You saying that, I'm like, I can like recall sunglasses that I had when I was younger that would like chip like the design. Like I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I read that you guys find inspiration in things like even architecture. Can you elaborate a bit on what inspires you when coming up with new designs?
I would say our biggest inspiration is probably our customers. And then from there, we find inspiration in different segments of like whether it's architecture or from our travels and things like that. But our number one thing is always our customers. We get a lot of feedback from our Instagram and they'll ask for like, can we have some wider frames or can we do some cat eye styles or we want like pink. We really want these pink colored frames that you guys have. Can you put it in all the colors and all the styles? So we kind of go through that. And what we hear the most from, and that's one of the really great things about having like an e-commerce business is that you really have a direct relationship with the customer and they'll always like write us notes or leave us like really awesome reviews. And we have the home try on box and some people like even draw like cartoons on there and like write long messages. It's so sweet. And it's so awesome to be like, they'll say really amazing things like, you know, we had someone who's like in her 50s and she said everything in the box fit her. And it's the first time she has felt seen in her whole life going eyewear shopping. So, like all of these, like that's why our customers are always our number one inspiration. So whatever they want to see or whatever kind of styles they like, we try to go with that.
We actually had a customer send in a photo of her, like where she switched one of our frames. She bought 2 frames and she swapped the lenses because she wanted a specific color combination. And we actually ended up producing one of the ones because we thought it looked so good. And that has been our number one seller for years.
Yeah.
So, oh my God.
Best-selling frame and best-selling color that she created.
Wow. What a flex for her. I also think you guys take the feedback from customers and actually like make those things happen. I can't think of a company that I shop at where I'm confident that they're going to like read my DM and like actually produce something.
Yeah, we really try to read everything and take note of everything.
Yeah. So I would love to talk a bit about the flagship store. So I actually got to interview your guys' store manager for our December issue that's coming out soon. So why did you guys choose that specific shopping center?
Yeah. Well, we picked California we've been online only for 8 years before we even opened a store. And California was always our strongest market. And so we knew if we were going to open something, it was going to be something in that area. And Athina and I both love OC. We have a lot of friends and family there. And I think we were there for a meeting and we were kind of just like driving around. And honestly, that's when we fell in love with the area. And that's why we picked that spot.
Yeah. Costa Mesa, I still live there. It's like one of my favorite cities in Orange County. I love it.
Yeah.
Would you guys ever move here?
We would love to. We always go back and forth. Just our roots are here. So
yeah. So at the flagship store, the design of it is so pretty. How'd you guys choose the style?
So we kind of went in. I know it doesn't seem like it, but our inspiration was a Japanese garden.
Oh no, I could totally get that.
Really? Yeah. I'm telling people that and they're like, oh, we don't see it. It's really beautiful, but we don't see the Japanese garden. So we that's like a really like very zen is what we wanted to be. We did not want to look like a typical eyewear store. And we didn't want there to be just like rows and rows and rows of styles and have it be really overwhelming. We are really big on like merchandising in a way where it feels like easily digestible. So you're not just like throwing so many things at the same time. But we wanted to just create a very like soft, relaxing atmosphere. We want you to like take your time and spend as long as you want in there. We have customers that usually go for like an hour just hanging out, get some drinks, like just really chill. And we also have the blue room, which is for private consult style consultations, which blue is kind of like our brand color. We both love blue, and Covry, the name comes from the word cove. And we started with sunglasses. So we made up Covry, the name, but it originated from the word cove because we felt it was so peaceful and zen, and blue by the water, and just like blue, everything just kind of like tied in together into the store.
I love that. And you guys also have so many great little perks at your store too, like the free lens cleaner refill station. And then you also offer free adjustments, which is really nice. Cause sometimes I feel like my glasses will get kind of like loose.
Yeah.
Or they don't fit right.
Right.
How'd you guys come up with these perks?
I think it just came from us having an e-commerce store for so long and knowing kind of like these things that we couldn't necessarily always offer digitally, but was always something we would have loved to offer in stores. So those were things we definitely wanted to include. We also do free frame cleanings anytime, just to kind of keep your frames looking beautiful all day, every day. And the free refills is actually one of my favorite things because it's funny. We have a big bottle by the door, and a lot of times people think it's like hand sanitizer. So they'll kind of go under the bottle and put their hand, but it's actually for free frame refills. And I don't know if people get excited about this, but the lens spray that's in there is so good. It's like
I was really going to ask.
natural, non-toxic lens spray, and it just cleans so well. So.
Yeah, it's so hard to find a good lens cleaner. Like with my glasses, I feel like it just smudges and smudges, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah,
so I'll have to try your guys's.
And we found the lens cleaner, they were showing us by spraying it in their mouth, being like, oh, you can, because it's natural and non-toxic.
Oh,
yeah. And then he's like, but don't do this because it doesn't taste great.
I also love the different like collaborations that you guys have in store. Like the lens cloth cleaners that are like with collaborations with artists.
Mm-hmm.
How did those come about?
Yeah. So we always wanted to like work with different artists, but it's hard to do that on a pair of glasses. So we thought like, let's really put their artwork on display. We have these big oversized lens cloths that have their artwork on there. And then all of the proceeds from each cloth go to a select charity of their choice.
Oh, that's so cool. And then you guys also did the cloud collection, which is so cute.
Thank you. That was also inspired by a customer because she was wearing our frames at her wedding and she tagged us in all her photos. And so we were like, oh, we should do, I mean, we also got married recently, but we were like, let's do some sort of bridal collection.
Oh, cool. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like what's the design for people who haven't seen it?
So we chose 3 of our existing sunglasses and we made them into our Cloud9 collection bridal colors. So it is like a white tortoise shell, like really pretty. And on the ends, there is like a scallop design on the tip that is like a baby blue color. So it's kind of like you're something blue. And then there's little clouds on the sides of the temple. So it's very subtle. It's, we didn't want to put like bride everywhere and have it be like, you can wear it when you're not a bride after your festivities, you can still wear it. Even we've had customers who just like the color and they just wanted it. So we wanted it to be subtle, but also like celebrating like a special moment.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, there's so many things. Like I got married a couple years ago and anything that said bride on it, I was like, well, this is obsolete now. So I love that it's like really subtle. That's really cool. Mm-hmm. I also loved that you guys have a walking group out of the store and that they go into the back bay. How did that come? Who started that?
Yeah. So our mission at Covry has always been to empower our customers and our community through eyewear. And so we wanted to extend that, kind of just taking the transactional part of sunglasses out of it and create something fun. So we have a group that's been going on for probably at least almost a year now. It's once a month, the first Saturday of each month. We meet at the store. Everyone can just borrow a pair of sunglasses for the walk, and we all head out. We have a really amazing leader, Goldie Choi, who kind of leads everyone. We do a little bit of a guided meditation the first 10 minutes, and then we walk, we enjoy each other's company, we learn about each other, we connect. And And it's a really amazing time where a community just kind of shares and becomes vulnerable with each other because it's such a safe and beautiful space. And so we're really encouraged by how much it's grown and how people keep coming back and bringing their friends. So it's a really fun Saturday.
Yeah, that's so nice. That's such a cool thing to share. I didn't realize that you guys had that until I interviewed the store manager. It's so fun.
Yeah. And like you're saying, the location was perfect because we're literally right in front of Back Bay.
Yeah, I've literally gone to Coffee Dose and grabbed a matcha and then walked over to Back Bay. So it's
exactly.
like,
exactly. Yeah. Perfect.
Perfect. And then she also mentioned you guys have some other like great events at the store too.
Yeah. So kind of just to extend into the, encouraging empowerment within our community, we've hosted different panels where we feature like local entrepreneurs or we have different events in the store as well where you can learn. So like we've had workshops of like watercolor workshops, calligraphy workshops. So just doing a lot of different things.
Yeah, how fun. God, well, is there anything coming up at your store that you want to shout out or any new collaborations or anything like that?
We have a few collaborations coming up next year, so stay tuned for that. But the holiday season is always super fun for us, and we always have some sales that we usually don't have during the year. So definitely recommend stopping in and checking it out.
Okay, great. Oh, yeah. And in the article, it talked a bit about you guys do like initials on the glasses case and gift wrapping. So shout out for that for the listeners, because that's so fun.
Yeah, you can get 3 letters and we personalize your case. It's really cute and it's like fits perfectly on the new blue case that we have.
Cute. Well, we're coming to the end of our time, but there are 3 final questions for you before I let you go called the Thoughtful 3. So what advice do you have for young entrepreneurs?
We always say just start. That's kind of what we always are so glad that we did. We were also much younger when we started the company. So we didn't really have that many, like priorities and, things that we really had to do. But we always say just start, no matter what your idea is. I think taking that first step, and even if it's something really small, like we took it slow. We weren't like, I think it can easily become very overwhelming if you're thinking, I need to create this big company and we have to do all these things. And so we took it very day by day. Day one, we literally figured out how to get a business license. The next day we went to open a bank account, and then how do you get a domain name? Just little things every day it will add up. And before you know it, you've already set everything up. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think for us, that was the biggest thing. It's like, just start whatever idea you have. I think it's so easy to have great ideas, and then you just it just falls through if you just, don't take action. So
yeah, I read once, and I forget what book it was, but it was basically saying when an idea comes to you, if you don't act on it, that idea will float to someone else. And they're like, there's so many people that are like, I had that idea. And I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
What tips would you give to someone who is looking to go into business with their friend?
Just do it. I'm always so grateful that, because this is both our first business. And so I'm always super grateful to have a co-founder first off, to kind of just bounce ideas off of. And there's always going to be highs and lows. And it's really nice to have someone that really gets everything that you're going through. And then to do it with a friend, I think I feel incredibly lucky because it's your friend. You get to hang out every day and do fun stuff.
I think also the reason why it works well for us is because we do completely different things. So I would say if you are going into a business with your friend, just make sure you're not doing the same things, because then I think easily you can step on each other's toes and it could get a little bit complicated. So we have completely different roles, and we are responsible for, we take the lead in our own roles that we do, which I think is the perfect balance.
Yeah. Sorry, what are your roles?
So I do the design, most of all the design, production, all of that stuff.
And I do most of the marketing.
Oh, did you guys just naturally fall into those roles?
Yeah. It's a lot of the little things. It's okay, who's slightly like more comfortable doing this, or who like definitely doesn't want to do this. So it kind of just happened naturally.
Yeah, I think it's like our personalities as well. Like I'm so bad at emails. I cannot respond to an email, but she's amazing at emails. And she'll respond like so fast, and she always says like the perfect thing. And then I like am very, very detailed oriented. So I'll be showing her like, oh, there's this scratch on the lens. And she'll be like, I can't see it. I cannot see it. I'm like, it's right there. You can't see it. She's just like, cannot see it. So it works out.
Yeah. And then lastly, I saw in a video that you guys said to let people underestimate you. And I love this. So can you elaborate a bit on that?
Well, I wonder when we said that.
I literally stalked you guys. It was a YouTube video.
I do think that us actually not having eyewear experience actually worked to our advantage, because we were able to think a little bit differently than people that had a lot of experience in the industry, because it just helped us think outside the box. So even the way that we approach fit, it's very different from somebody else that is used to doing it a certain way or has a specific expectation. So I think that has worked to our advantage. And sometimes, it's better to let people underestimate you.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. I had so much fun getting to talk with you, and I'm going to have to come to one of your store events soon.
Yeah, come to the walk. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Awesome.